Pay attention to the girl walking through the parking lot of the Riverside Plaza Shopping Center. She's wearing jeans and a white blouse. Her hair is pulled back. She's carrying a black portfolio case. Her name is Claire Donovan. She is 17 years old. She's a senior at Riverside High School. She wants to be a fashion model. She's walking to what she believes is a professional photo shoot with a legitimate modeling agency. Now, pay attention to the man standing near the gray sedan in the far corner of the lot. He's approximately 40 years old. He's holding a camera. He waves at her. She waves back. Within 2 hours, Claire's phone would be turned off forever. This was not a modeling shoot. It was a carefully planned abduction. Claire Donovan had been planning her modeling career since she was 14. Her bedroom walls were covered with magazine tear sheets. She practiced poses in front of her mirror. She studied angles and lighting. She maintained a strict diet and exercise routine. Her Instagram wasn't for socializing. It was a portfolio. Every post was carefully curated. Professional-looking shots taken by friends. Outfit combinations she'd spent hours planning. Captions that projected confidence and ambition. Claire had 3,200 followers. Most were classmates and local photographers. Some were modeling scouts, or at least accounts that claimed to be. On March 3, 2023, she received a direct message from an account called @EliteTalentCasting. The profile looked legitimate. Professional headshots in the banner. A link to what appeared to be an agency website. 42,000 followers. The message was direct. We're scouting for an upcoming campaign. Your look is exactly what we need. Are you interested in a test shoot this weekend? Professional rate. Portfolio building opportunity. Claire was cautious. She'd been warned about scams. She clicked the website link. The site featured polished agency branding, testimonials, and a roster of models. Everything looked real. She responded, "Yes, I'm interested. What are the details?" The account replied within minutes. Saturday afternoon, the Riverside Plaza Shopping Center, Suite 240 in the North Building. Bring portfolio. Wear casual clothing. The photographer's name was Marcus Bennett. He'd been scouting for the agency for 6 years. Claire researched the name. She found a LinkedIn profile, a portfolio website. Everything matched. She told her mother, Diane Donovan, about the opportunity. Diane was supportive but concerned. She asked to see the messages. She reviewed the website. She asked if Claire wanted her to come along. Claire said no. She was 17. She was almost an adult. She could handle a professional meeting. Diane made Claire promise to text her when she arrived, during the shoot, and when she was leaving. Claire agreed. On Saturday, March 5th at 2:15 p.m., Claire drove to the Riverside Plaza Shopping Center. She parked near the North Building. She texted her mother, "Here, going in now." That was the last message Diane Donovan ever received from her daughter. At 4:30 p.m., Diane sent a text. "How's it going?" No response. At 5:00 p.m., she called. The call went straight to voicemail. At 5:30 p.m., she called again. Still voicemail. By 6:00 p.m., Diane was in her car driving to the shopping center. She called Claire 14 times during the 20-minute drive. Every call went to voicemail. She arrived at the parking lot at 6:22 p.m. Claire's car was still there. A silver Honda Civic with a Riverside High parking sticker in the rear window. The doors were locked. Claire's phone charger was plugged into the dashboard. Her water bottle sat in the cup holder. Diane ran to the North Building. Suite 240 was on the second floor. The door was locked. The suite was dark. A building directory in the lobby listed Suite 240 as vacant. She called 911 at 6:31 p.m. Riverside Police Department dispatch sent 2 officers to the scene. Officers Tyler Hoffman and Grace Martinez arrived at 6:47 p.m. They took Diane's statement. They reviewed the Instagram messages on Diane's phone. They checked the building directory. They spoke with building security. The security supervisor confirmed Suite 240 had been empty for 3 months. No modeling agency had ever leased space in the building. The previous tenant was a tax preparation service. Officer Hoffman requested security camera footage. The parking lot cameras captured Claire arriving at 2:18 p.m. She walked toward the building. At 2:31 p.m., she walked back toward the parking lot. She was not alone. A man was walking beside her. He was carrying a camera bag. He was talking. Claire appeared to be listening and nodding. They walked to a gray sedan parked in the northwest corner of the lot. The man opened the trunk. He appeared to be showing Claire something inside. Then Claire leaned forward to look. The man moved behind her. The footage from that angle was partially obscured by a delivery van. When the van moved, 43 seconds later, Claire was no longer visible. The man was closing the trunk. He walked to the driver's side. He got in. The sedan drove out of the parking lot at 2:34 p.m. Claire's car remained in the lot. Her phone, her keys, her wallet, and her portfolio were never found. Riverside Police Department escalated the case to the Major Crimes Unit within 3 hours. Detective Sarah Brennan was assigned as lead investigator. She'd worked missing persons cases for 11 years. She knew the first 72 hours were critical. Detective Brennan's team began with the Instagram account. The @Elite Talent Casting profile had been created 4 weeks earlier. The follower count was fabricated. The profile photo was stolen from a legitimate agency's website. The agency website link led to a spoof domain that mimicked a real casting agency based in New York. The real Elite Talent Casting had no knowledge of the fake account. They filed a complaint with Instagram. The fake account was deactivated within hours. The digital forensics team traced the IP address used to create the account. It led to a public library in Henderson, 20 miles south of Riverside. The library's security footage showed a man using a computer terminal on February 7th. He wore a baseball cap pulled low. He kept his face angled away from cameras. He used the terminal for 47 minutes. He created the Instagram account, uploaded stolen photos, and sent messages to 17 different accounts. All belonged to teenage girls interested in modeling. Claire Donovan was the only one who responded. Detective Brennan obtained traffic camera footage from streets surrounding the shopping center. The gray sedan was captured heading south on Route 23 at 2:41 p.m. The license plate was partially visible. The forensics team enhanced the image. The plate was registered to a 2011 Toyota Camry owned by Gregory Walsh. Gregory Walsh was 42 years old. He worked as a freelance photographer. He had no criminal record. He lived in a rented house in suburban Henderson with his girlfriend, Kimberly Ross. Detective Brennan and 3 other detectives arrived at Walsh's residence at 11:30 p.m. on March 5th. The house was dark. The gray Camry was parked in the driveway. The detectives knocked. No answer. They knocked again. Still no answer. They obtained a warrant at 1:15 a.m. on March 6th. They executed the warrant at 2 a.m. The house was empty. Walsh and Ross were gone. Their clothing was gone. Their toiletries were gone. The house had been abandoned in a hurry. Dishes sat in the sink. A television was still on. The bed was unmade. In the garage, investigators found a Canon camera, 3 different lenses, portable lighting equipment, and a laptop. The laptop was password protected. The forensics team took it to the lab. In the trunk of the Camry, they found Claire's black portfolio case. It contained 6 professional headshots, 3 composite cards, and a resume. Inside a zippered pocket, they found her phone. The phone was off. When powered on, it showed 17 missed calls from Diane Donovan. They also found a small zippered pouch containing zip ties, duct tape, and a folding knife. Claire Donovan was not in the house. She was not in the car. She was not on the property. The forensics team cracked Walsh's laptop password within 18 hours. What they found was worse than anyone expected. The hard drive contained thousands of photos. Most were legitimate photography work, weddings, portraits, corporate headshots. But buried in a hidden folder were 247 photos of young women. The photos were candid shots taken without consent. Women at coffee shops, women at bus stops, women walking through parking lots. 34 of the photos were of Claire Donovan. The earliest was dated February 2nd, more than a month before he contacted her on Instagram. He'd been watching her. following her, photographing her without her knowledge. The laptop also contained a folder of saved Instagram profiles, 17 accounts, all teenage girls, all interested in modeling. Claire's profile was bookmarked. So were 6 others who had received messages from the fake @Elite Talent casting account. This was not impulsive. This was methodical. Detective Brennan issued an Amber Alert for Claire Donovan at 6 a.m. on March 6th. She issued a BOLO, be on the lookout, for Gregory Walsh and Kimberly Ross. She contacted the FBI. The case was now a suspected abduction with interstate flight potential. The FBI's Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team arrived in Riverside by noon. Kimberly Ross was 26 years old. She'd been dating Walsh for 8 months. She worked as a retail manager at a clothing store in Henderson. Her co-workers described her as quiet and dependable. Her family said she'd changed since meeting Walsh. She'd become withdrawn. She'd stopped calling. She'd missed family gatherings. The FBI interviewed Ross's mother, Janet Ross, on March 6th. Janet said Kimberly had called her on March 4th, the day before Claire disappeared. Kimberly sounded nervous. She said she was going on a trip with Greg. She didn't say where. She said she'd call when she got back. Janet asked if everything was okay. Kimberly said yes, but Janet didn't believe her. The FBI obtained phone records for both Walsh and Ross. Walsh's phone was turned off at 9:47 p.m. on March 5th, approximately 3 hours before police arrived at his house. Ross's phone was turned off at the same time. Their last known location was a cell tower near Interstate 70, heading west. The FBI issued a federal warrant for Gregory Walsh, kidnapping, unlawful restraint, and interstate flight to avoid prosecution. Kimberly Ross was named as a person of interest. The search expanded to a national level. On March 7th, a truck driver named Dennis Parker called the FBI tip line. He'd seen the Amber Alert on Arrest Stop television. He'd seen the photo of Gregory Walsh. Parker said he'd stopped at a rest area off Interstate 70 near the Kansas border on the evening of March 5th. He'd seen a gray sedan in the parking lot. A man matching Walsh's description was sitting in the driver's seat. A younger woman was in the passenger seat. Parker noticed them because they appeared to be arguing. The woman looked upset. The man looked angry. Parker didn't see anyone else in the car, but he also didn't look closely. He went inside the rest stop. When he came back out 20 minutes later, the sedan was gone. The FBI obtained security footage from the rest stop. The gray Camry was visible in the lot from 7:18 p.m. to 7:41 p.m. on March 5th. Walsh was in the driver's seat. Ross was in the passenger seat. The rear windows were tinted. No one else was visible, but the trunk was never opened on camera. On March 9th, a motel clerk in Salina, Kansas, called local police. She'd seen the BOLO for Gregory Walsh. A man matching his description had checked into the Sundown Motor Lodge 2 days earlier. He'd paid cash. He'd requested a room in the back. He'd kept the Do Not Disturb sign on the door. The clerk said he'd been accompanied by a young woman with dark hair. The woman looked frightened. She didn't speak. The man did all the talking. Salina Police Department contacted the FBI. Agents arrived at the Sundown Motor Lodge at 4:30 p.m. They surrounded room 14. They knocked. No answer. They announced themselves. No response. They breached the door at 4:47 p.m. The room was empty. Walsh and Ross were gone. But someone had been there recently. The bed was unmade. Towels were damp. Fast food wrappers sat on the table. In the bathroom, agents found long strands of dark hair in the sink. The hair was sent to the lab for DNA testing. The results came back within 24 hours. The hair belonged to Claire Donovan. She had been in that room. She was alive, or had been as recently as March 9th. On March 10th, at 6:32 a.m., Kimberly Ross called her mother. The call came from a payphone at a gas station in Sterling, Colorado. Ross was crying. She told her mother she was scared. She said Greg had done something terrible. She said she didn't know what to do. Janet Ross immediately called 911. She told the operator her daughter was at a gas station in Sterling. She gave the location. She said Kimberly was in danger. Sterling Police Department dispatched units to the gas station. They arrived at 6:41 a.m. The payphone was hanging off the hook. Kimberly Ross was sitting on the curb nearby. She was alone. She was shaking. Officers approached her. She didn't resist. She said 2 words: "Help me." Gregory Walsh was not at the gas station. The gray Camry was not in the parking lot. Kimberly Ross had no phone. She had no wallet. She had no identification. She was taken to the Sterling Police Department for questioning. The FBI was notified immediately. 2 agents drove from Denver to interview her. Kimberly Ross spoke for 4 hours. She told investigators everything. Walsh had contacted Claire Donovan through the fake Instagram account. He'd planned the abduction for weeks. He'd researched Claire's schedule. He'd identified the empty suite at the shopping center. He'd prepared the trunk of his car with restraints. On March 5th, he'd waited in the parking lot. When Claire arrived, he approached her. He told her the office entrance was in the back. He led her to his car. He said his equipment was in the trunk. He asked her to look at a lighting setup. When Claire leaned forward, Walsh grabbed her from behind. He put his hand over her mouth. He forced her into the trunk. He used zip ties to bind her wrists and ankles. He used duct tape to cover her mouth. He closed the trunk. The entire abduction took less than 30 seconds. Ross said she'd been in the passenger seat during the abduction. She'd seen everything. Walsh had told her to stay quiet. He'd told her they were leaving town immediately. She was terrified. She didn't know what to do. She felt trapped. They drove west on Interstate 70. Walsh kept driving through the night. They stopped at the rest area in Kansas. Walsh checked the trunk. He gave Claire water. He told her not to scream. He said if she cooperated, she wouldn't be hurt. They continued driving. They stopped at the Sundown Motor Lodge in Salina. Walsh took Claire into the motel room. He kept her hands bound. He told her she was going to do exactly what he said. He set up his camera equipment. He took photos of her. She was crying. She was terrified. Ross said she stayed in the room. She watched. She didn't try to stop him. She was afraid he would hurt her if she interfered. They stayed at the motel for 3 days. On March 9th, Walsh said they were leaving. He put Claire back in the trunk. They drove north. Walsh became increasingly paranoid. He kept checking his mirrors. He kept saying the police were looking for them. On the morning of March 10th, Walsh pulled into the gas station in Sterling. He told Ross to stay in the car. He went into the convenience store. Ross saw her chance. She opened the car door. She ran to the payphone. She called her mother. Walsh came out of the store. He saw her on the phone. He ran to the car. He drove away. He left her there. Ross didn't know where Walsh went. She didn't know where Claire was. She was terrified Walsh would come back. FBI agents asked the critical question: was Claire alive when Walsh left? Ross said yes. She was in the trunk. She was alive. The FBI issued an updated BOLO. Gregory Walsh was now considered armed and dangerous. The search intensified. Every law enforcement agency in Colorado, Wyoming, and Nebraska was alerted. On March 10th, at 2:15 p.m., a Colorado State Patrol trooper spotted a gray Toyota Camry heading north on Highway 14 near Walden, Colorado. The license plate matched the BOLO. The trooper called for backup. He activated his lights and sirens. The Camry accelerated. A high-speed chase ensued. Walsh drove erratically. He crossed the center line multiple times. He reached speeds of 95 miles per hour on mountain roads. Additional units set up a roadblock 12 miles ahead near Gould. Walsh approached the roadblock at a high speed. He didn't slow down. He swerved at the last second. The Camry left the road. It crashed through a guardrail. It rolled down an embankment. It came to rest on its roof in a shallow creek. Troopers surrounded the vehicle. Walsh was unconscious. He was bleeding from a head wound. He was extracted from the vehicle and airlifted to a hospital in Fort Collins. Officers checked the trunk. Claire Donovan was inside. She was alive. Barely. She was bound with zip ties. Her mouth was covered with duct tape. She was dehydrated and hypothermic. She couldn't speak. She couldn't move. She was shaking uncontrollably. Paramedics treated her at the scene. She was transported by helicopter to the same hospital as Walsh. She was admitted to the ICU in critical condition. Claire Donovan remained in the hospital for 6 days. She suffered from severe dehydration, malnutrition, and shock. She had bruises on her wrists and ankles from the restraints. She had difficulty speaking for the first 48 hours. Her mother stayed by her side. Diane Donovan didn't leave the hospital. She held Claire's hand. She told her she was safe. She told her it was over. On March 16th, Claire was discharged from the hospital. She went home to Riverside with her mother. She didn't speak to reporters. She didn't make public statements. She wanted privacy. She wanted to heal. Gregory Walsh survived the crash. He was treated for concussion and broken ribs. On March 12th, he was arrested in his hospital bed. He was charged with kidnapping, unlawful restraint, assault, child endangerment, and fleeing law enforcement. Federal charges were also filed. Walsh refused to speak to investigators. He invoked his right to an attorney. He never provided a statement. He never explained why he targeted Claire Donovan. Kimberly Ross was charged with accessory to kidnapping and failure to report a crime. She cooperated fully with investigators. In exchange for her testimony, prosecutors offered a reduced sentence. Gregory Walsh's trial began on September 18, 2023. The prosecution presented overwhelming evidence: security camera footage of the abduction, DNA evidence from the motel room, Claire's testimony about her 5-day ordeal. Kimberly Ross's detailed account of the abduction and flight. The defense argued diminished capacity. Walsh's attorney claimed he suffered from untreated mental illness. He claimed Walsh's actions were the result of a psychotic break. He claimed Walsh didn't fully understand the criminality of his actions. The prosecution countered with evidence of premeditation: the fake Instagram account, the surveillance photos, the carefully planned abduction. Walsh knew exactly what he was doing. On October 3, 2023, the jury deliberated for 9 hours. They returned a guilty verdict on all counts. On November 15, 2023, Gregory Walsh was sentenced to 45 years in prison without possibility of parole. The judge called his actions calculated predation against a vulnerable child. Kimberly Ross pleaded guilty to accessory charges. She was sentenced to 8 years in prison. She would be eligible for parole after serving 4 years. Claire Donovan did not return to Riverside High School. She completed her senior year through home study. She graduated in June 2023. She did not attend the ceremony. She no longer maintains an Instagram account. She deleted all her social media profiles. She doesn't discuss modeling. She doesn't talk about her career aspirations. She attends therapy twice a week. She's learning to process the trauma. She's learning to feel safe again. It's a slow process. Diane Donovan left her job to care for Claire full-time. She became an advocate for online safety education. She speaks at schools and community centers. She warns parents about the dangers of social media predators. She shares Claire's story, with Claire's permission, to prevent other families from experiencing the same nightmare. In 2024, Claire testified before the state legislature in support of a bill requiring social media platforms to verify the identities of accounts claiming to represent talent agencies, casting directors, and modeling scouts. The bill passed. It was named Claire's Law. Claire is now 19 years old. She attends community college. She's studying psychology. She wants to help other survivors of trauma. She doesn't speak publicly about what happened to her. She's not ready. Maybe she never will be. That's her right. The fake Instagram account was active for 4 weeks. Gregory Walsh sent messages to 17 teenage girls. Claire Donovan was the only one who responded. She made a reasonable decision based on the information available to her. She researched the account. She verified the website. She told her mother. She believed she was meeting a legitimate professional. She did everything right. The predator was simply more sophisticated. The gray sedan is now in an evidence storage facility. The camera equipment was destroyed. The laptop hard drive was wiped and archived. Claire's black portfolio case was returned to her family. Diane keeps it in a closet. She can't bring herself to throw it away, but she can't look at it either. Claire survived. That's what matters most. The modeling dreams are gone, but Claire is still here. She's still fighting. She's still healing. That's a victory in itself.